Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Morning and welcome to this session this morning, brought to you again by the South African Accounting Academy. Today, what we'll be looking at is technology in accounting. So I'm very excited to be here, and it's going to be an absolutely fabulous topic for discussion. So yeah, let's get going. My quote for the day that I want to share with you guys is one from Sean Lacher. A chartered accountant from the US. He's a partner at his own audit firm called Fraser and Dieter. And he said something that really made an impression on me this week that I just wanted to share with you. So what he said was, I've always embraced change because it presents an opportunity to improve, which makes what we do fun. This is going to change us as a firm, and that's exciting. And this is what he said about when he was asked about what his firm is going to do in order to survive in the Corona period and after the Corona period. So I think, thinking of the topic that we're chatting about today, technology in accounting, this was very apt for me. And I think this is kind of the attitude that we all should be aiming for, because we know in this industry, mindset is everything. Okay, so in terms of the course outline, your learning objectives for today, I would like each and every participant for today to walk away here with an understanding that technology is changing the accountants' old ways of doing things. I would like you to know of the tech trends that are happening in the accounting sector. I'd like you to understand what this means for accountants in practice. I'd like you to understand which key strategic moves to make to survive the digital revolution. And I would like you to have gained practical insight on various tech that may be used to run the accounting practice. In terms of the table of contents, we're going to start with a little bit of an introduction where I'm just going to share with you my view on the current state of affairs in the accounting field. Then we'll move on to tech trends specifically in the accounting sector. We'll look at what is available for the accountants to use during this time as resources. We'll delve into how to harness the power of tech. We'll look at key strategic moves for survival. I'll quickly touch on statutory considerations, including the POPI Act and cybersecurity legislation. And then I'll share with you my future outlook. So hopefully this will be an inspiring journey this morning. I'm hoping that you'll learn a lot, and I'm also hoping that we can have the discussion going in the chats, sharing our knowledge and making sure we all walk away from this with some practical value. So, getting going with Module 1, Introduction. So, in the introduction, I want to share with you just in terms of the current state of affairs in the accounting field. These are the headlines that I've been seeing popping up all around. So some of them are like coronavirus, Baldwin's regional CEO, all firms must become digital first. Then there's a headline like business report, crisis drives reliance on accounting tech. We have Business Live discussion, supporting clients on the long-term road to recovery. Accounting software, digitize or die, myths about accounts payable software. Technology, people are being left behind, says research on digital transformation. And then coronavirus, SMEs face increased cybersecurity risks and phishing attempts. So this for me is really a representation of exactly what is going on in the industry at the moment. So if we look at that in a bit more detail, I would say in terms of what's generally happening in the industry, there's a focus on systems and processes and not just compliance, especially as accounting firms realize that they have to compete globally now because of the disruptive movements in the accounting sector that has basically just been accelerated by the COVID pandemic. Accountants are focusing on using technology to create economies of scale and to cut costs. There's a lot of innovative new solutions as the accounting software industry is also disrupted. And then online training and the knowledge industry specifically is booming as all of us, not just accountants, realize that we need to stay up to date with the latest and greatest. Thank you, Werner, for sharing this in the chat. I really appreciate it when the participants contribute. So that's another one from Business Tech. Experian data breach new law to clamp down on future hacks in South Africa. So that sounds really interesting as well. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to definitely have a look at that one as well. I think it's in line with what we've discussed thus far. In terms of the impact that COVID has had on our industry and what's happening with us. So what is interesting and one of the positive spins that actually came out of COVID is that clients realized more and more how necessary the accountant is as a go-to person. So I think for a lot of clients, especially small and medium ones, during this time when legislation was constantly changing and there's this requirement and that requirement to get this funding, the accountant again became the go-to person to go to in order to figure all of this out and to make sure that the business still does move forward. So that was actually a positive thing that came out of this. There was a lot more admin type work. We did some compliance work, helping clients to, submit their applications, helping them to get TERS funding, etc. There was also less paying clients for us, unfortunately, as the global economies crashed all around us. And I think as accountants, we expected that. I mean, specifically, I'm just talking now from a South African point of view. I still remember being on a webinar. I think it was a Friday, and the president was going to speak the next day to let us know if we're going to be continuing the lockdown. And at that point, we were already saying, South Africa just can't afford for the lockdown to be extended. But it was extended anyway. So not really news. It's just something we need to deal with. During this time, it's also really been exposing the need for global tax practitioners because, for example, individuals that would normally work overseas were returning home, or they already were home, but now they were locked down here. They had tax issues that still had to be dealt with overseas, or maybe they were dual citizens and there was some tax legislation that need to be interpreted from both sides. So, and that really, for me, again, just highlighted how important it is from an expertise point of view to know what's going on globally and not just locally. And that's why I also saw that during this time, the audit qualification, which is the qualification for becoming an international tax practitioner, also became extremely popular. Actually, a lot of courses became really, really popular all of a sudden as accountants specifically realized, we need new skills, we need new expertise in order to be able to assist our clients through this crisis, because they need us now more than ever. We've also obviously seen the trends towards virtualization and remote teams. I mean, I've seen a lot of small to medium businesses moving the whole workforce.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.